Welcome to another Unreal Foos tutorial. Today I want to show you how to do a firewall Tic Tac series. The first thing is you have to develop really good tic tacking control, and so you have to just practice doing this. You know, the first thing is do this cradle of the ball right here just to sort of get the ball started, and then once you get that going, then you can start tic tacking. And I recommend tic tacking between those two guys, but also letting the ball go and tic tacking over here. Maybe, tic tacking along all the men on the 5 bar, just to develop that control. Also letting the ball bounce off the wall, bringing it over here. Having the ball go under or behind the guy, the second guy, having it just go forward. That's like that, forward and then behind. So you're doing all of those combinations of movements just so that you get really comfortable with that, because for the Tic Tac series you have to be extremely good at tic tacking, so that when you're actually trying to pass, the tic tacking itself is a second nature. You're not worried about the tic tac. The tic tac is, you're just doing this, and with your peripheral vision, you're just concentrated on the defender. So, if the defender's there, you're just tic tacking, and you're just either waiting for a hole or looking at to see what's open. And so, if something opens up, then you can go for the pass. So practice the tic tacking. Like I said, spend a lot of time just doing that, just getting that control, and that'll be the main battle with this series. Once you do that, then your two main passes are the wall and the lane. So you want to practice. Let's practice the lane. Always put the 5-bar up against the wall, and you want to be able to pass at around this spot. And so then, when you go to to illustrate what the pass would look like, is as you're tic tacking, essentially your timing will be the ball is moving here, and as soon as you feel the ball hit the second guy and bounce, you're already going down for the pass. So that should be the lane pass. And for me, it's once you develop that tic tac, the timing is you just feel when it hits that second guy, and then you go for the pass. And it has to be quick. It has to be, and the tic tac itself doesn't have to be very fast. It can be a very slow. Just develop a good pace. It doesn't have to be something like, you don't have to do something that fast. So it has to be, something like a good tic tac, and then as soon as you feel it hit that second guy. And with the 3-bar is you're just waiting for that, and you're coming out to the lane to catch the pass. So keep practicing that, and it has to just go right inside of this guy. That's the key, like that, because that once you're doing that tic tac, and if somebody has to come out, the only way to block that pass is for this guy to really get out here, and that gives you, a really big wall. So, again, so now the next pass is that wall pass. If you're doing this tic tac, for me, in order to practice what the wall pass timing should be, is put the ball essentially right there, and then hit the ball with this guy to this guy, and then go right to the wall. So like this. So it should kind of feel like that, like you're going. That should kind of. So then, what that means is when you're doing the tic tac, is when it hits the second guy and it's going back, then you're gonna do a quick. When it's getting here, you're gonna do a quick hit, go to the wall. So you can kind of hear it's a little bit of an accelerated movement when it's gonna go to the wall. Like that. So again, if you want to practice that initially, you can do things like that, where you leave the ball just sort of sitting here, and kind of just try that a little bit just to kind of feel the timing. But eventually, it's off of this, of the actual Tic Tac. Try to go to that wall. And it's always good with the Tic Tac is anytime that you're Tic Tacing, you're kind of setting up. It's inevitable that the ball's gonna move a little bit back or forward. So always try to reset a little bit if you're sort of losing control. Like I said, let the ball go, cradle it with this guy, bring it back, and then go back into your Tic Tac, or let it bounce off the wall to sort of reset. And so for the most part, you want to concentrate. You want to concentrate on just executing those two passes and just getting really good at being comfortable with the Tic Tac. Other options are for this, an off the wall pass. Let it bounce a little bit more. So the timing is, it's almost like it. So it should almost look like exactly like you're gonna do a wall pass, but you're letting the ball bounce off the wall and then coming back through the lane and catching it like that. Okay, so then other options that you can do a second man pass. I typically like to do a little bit of a brush right through these guys. So if I see something like that, and it's actually when this guy's sort of floating here, it leaves this nice brush open right there, right through the middle. So if they're sort of floating here, I mean, you can always get away with doing lanes or walls. Sometimes it's just easier if you go right through those guys like this. And it goes right into that middle man on the 3-bar. Other passes that you can do is and you can do a fake lane off the wall pass, and then you brush down. So it's more like you're while you're tic-tacking here, you let it bounce and then brush down. So it's so it's almost a delayed hit. You kind of just let the defender move out of the wall. So it doesn't have to be terribly fast, but sometimes you can work on whatever flavor you want. For me, the tic-tacking, the other thing I forgot to say is I typically like to be right under the bar or a little bit behind, and I typically control just kind of what I like. I'm typically not tic-tacking like way in front of it here. I like to just sort of have more control of the ball being under or a little bit back. The other pass that's probably maybe a third or fourth option, at least for me, is as you're doing this, I can do lanes and walls, and then the other one's a hesitation wall. So the hesitation wall means that you're gonna let the ball bounce off the second guy like that, and as it's moving over there, then you're gonna hit it again and go to a wall pass. That's a hesitation wall of that Tic Tac. And that can be, just, you can do that sort of like as your wall option. So you could either do hesitation wall lane or just, your standard wall pass. Hesitation wall pass. Or you can do, so you can use those two variations and then your lane. Another pass that sometimes I've seen Tony do a lot, and it's mainly after getting quick possession of the ball, is it's a quick, essentially a two-man stick right here. Is you sort of grab possession not like that. But either way, it's more like this, like without having to move the bar, is just it goes right into that stick. If somebody's just sort of waiting there, or sometimes you can just put a fake. You're coming down with the ball here, and somebody's just too worried about the wall, and it just goes. You can go right into that pass, just to kind of surprise people. Sometimes with the Tic Tac series, people expect you to sort of go back to the Tic Tac, but and so then they'll just kind of wait until you're going to your Tic Tac series. So in that case, that's usually a good time to catch somebody off guard if they're just going to be waiting there. There's a ton of options that you can add. I mean, obviously, like I said, the master at this is Tony Spredeman. Watch some of his matches, and you can see a lot of the variations that he does. But these are the main options. The other thing before I end this tutorial is doing. Tony has a phenomenal left hook off of this, and it's mainly doing this. It's moving the ball from here to here, and then hitting. So again, it's sort of like the same motion as doing a wall pass, where you'd go like that, like you'd bring it and then go. But now if you're gonna do a like a 5-bar shot, is if you're doing this, you're gonna do that quick tic tac. So something like that. And it's usually essentially a close-handed shot. And off of that, there's also a middle pass there, like that it usually opens up like that. I'll just move this guy maybe. And it typically goes around here where you catch it with this. So if you're going here, like that, but you'd catch it right in the middle. So I gotta practice that myself. Something like that. I mean, I don't use that one very much, but you can see Tony, he does that a lot. Something like that. And but again, practice this just to get really, really good at ball control, doing that. But for the most part, I wouldn't recommend it on tour, just because of the tables being inconsistent. Otherwise, it's a phenomenal series. And what I do is I usually mix in. I kind of do a hybrid. I like the ball movement and ball control, so I do a lot of that movement to set up my brushes and hesitation passes. So if I'm doing this, I go like this, and I move the ball, and then I set up brushes, or like this, and if I see a pass off, and like maybe a quick one, then I will do a tic tac pass. But for the most part, as I'm setting up off the tic tac, I can usually use this for setting up other passes. Doing things like that, or mainly that hesitation wall for me, since that's a key pass that I do. And so then you don't necessarily have to do it one specific way. It's good to be creative, and also to find your own style as well. So give it a shot. Let me know how that works, and if you have any other questions or comments, send me a message. Thank you.